Ohio State offered some emphatic answers in a season-opening win over top-ranked Texas on Saturday. But now it's Tuesday. It's a Talking Tuesday, and it's time for a whole new set of questions. Welcome to The Beat and the Austin Birm Show. Tuesdays, there is no berm. It's television, 10 TVs, Adam King joining me, Austin Ward, to break it all down. I don't know that the questions are pressing so much for game number 2, but there's a lot that we still need to find out about this Ohio State team moving forward.
Everybody just take a deep breath. Oh my gosh. You know the last time that Ohio State had a game where there wasn't stress on the line or new on the line or like, what in the world is this going to look like? You know, they had the Northwestern game at Wrigley, but it was Wrigley, so it was different.
I was stressed out about Wrigley Field.
Yes, so you got to go back to the Purdue game before that last year. Since then, Northwestern, then Indiana, then Michigan, then the playoff run, then Texas. We can breathe. We did it.
That's a lot of top 10 opponents in there.
That's a lot of top 10 opponents. Grambling State, not top 10. And boy, did it come. And I saw someone tweet out today, raise your hand if your team's not playing an FCS team. No one deserves to play an FCS team more than Ohio State right now. Honestly, the Buckeyes could play a high school team, and I would be okay with that.
That seems unfair.
Well, I think they'd probably win. But we're just Talking Tuesday, and we've got more questions. Just because we got a lot of answers doesn't mean we don't have questions.
Yeah. So, and I think that this stretch, starting with Grambling State, following up with Ohio, and then the off week after that, I'm curious, Adam, and I think you probably share this curiosity with me, how Ryan Day is going to manage it, navigate it, because there's at least an opening where Ohio State could treat this like, okay, everything in August was built towards Texas. Now you have that chance to take a deep breath and exhale. Could you have a training camp-like NFL-style preseason for the next couple of weeks? With all due respect to Ohio and certainly to Grambling State, even though they know, you were telling me about their press conference.
Yeah, I was listening to the coach. That was really interesting. He kind of said, we know what we're getting into. We know why we're playing this game. We know how good Ohio State is, which I love because, what is the coach going to say to his team? Hey, we're going up against Ohio State. Yeah, but we can win. Well, yeah, okay. In the 1% of a billion, sure. But I thought that was interesting. He said he wanted to have a clean game, but you're right. This is a whole different world now for Ohio State. It's something we've never really seen where they can almost hit the reset button. Not only can they hit the reset button, but they can hit it with a ton of film and good film. A lot of teams don't get that this early in the season. You don't get to actually see good reps. You're trying to figure out what all these different plays mean. We try to figure it out so often. Okay, well, they scored 60 on Grambling State. Does this mean that this team's great? Well, we now know that this team is great. They just beat the number 1 team in the country. Now they get to go back and piece it all together and make it even better.
Yeah. So that is where normally I let you start, but I just felt like we were both going to be on the same page, which is like, how does Ryan Day manage these practices? On the one hand, you're going to say you respect your opponents, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
But on the other, okay, you're going to be favored by a wide margin in each of these next 2 games. And what did we hear last year for the first off week? It's an improvement week. So you could take these next 3 games, these next 3 weeks, and yes, you're not going to just pretend that the MAC champions are going to roll over.
Yeah.
That their mascot's probably going to come in and throw more punches at Brutus. So, but even if you just take the next week and a half towards that, or just this week, there's an opportunity here to spread around some of the reps and some of the snaps, which we definitely didn't see that much on Saturday against Texas.
Well, that's crucial. I mean, that's what the beginning of the year is for, is to get some of those younger guys reps and get them snaps in a game. I mean, we're looking down the line here, but someone like Tavian St. Clair, you want him to get some game reps in there. We think about how much Julian Sayin played. At some point, he's going to be the guy. You want to know we got him into some real live bullet games. But at the end of the day, my first question for Ryan Day kind of looks back at Texas. And I want to ask him, I think that he has grown so much as a coach, and you can see it play out throughout his career, and it's been really cool to watch. And I don't know if he'll give me an exact point, but it feels like that somewhere along the way, Ryan Day found the confidence to be okay with winning in any way. I think with a coach, any coach can be stubborn in the idea that I want to dictate a game. I want to win in the way that I coach the game. I want to score 50 points all the time. And I think that can be hard for any coach to sit there and say, okay, I am not going to be able to do that in this game. How can we still win? And I think Ryan Day, especially in these past, this unbelievable 5-game stretch, they've all been different. And it's been remarkable to watch him change the game plan in game. I mean, there was a moment there, it felt like in the second quarter, third quarter, where Ryan Day played trestle ball. He was running out the clock, and it was smart as could be. He said, this defense is unbelievable right now. Matt Patricia is cooking like could have never imagined. And at this point, I don't want my rookie quarterback playing his first game to cost us. I don't want to fumble from running backs that are just playing their first snaps for Ohio State here in a real matchup.
Right.
So how can I guarantee that we don't lose this game on offense and let the defense continue to win it for us?
Yeah, I think there was a pretty key comment from Ryan Day after the game about exactly what you're talking about, which was Brian Hartline called an unselfish game.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And to your point, when as a coach do you become okay with that? When do you shift from offensive coordinator and then you transition to head coach and you still want to have quarterbacks who are first-round draft picks and winning the Heisman Trophy race to be like, 126 yards and 13 completions is probably all it's going to take to win this game. Like, that is a good question. I love it.
Thank you.
I can't wait to hear the answer.
Yes. I'm very intrigued because I think at some point in his career, I think probably with every coach, you have to get to that point. I want to ask him about Matt Patricia because I do want to know at what point does he just laugh as an offensive coordinator watching what Matt Patricia is doing. We all saw it. The countless schemes. Everybody is so hard on Arch Manning right now. Arch Manning had
what was he supposed to do?
He had no idea what play the defense was running, what coverage they were in until the ball was snapped. I mean, you look at some of those. All 22, I always say it gets in the weeds for the casual fans, but I have never had more fun watching an all 22. Even if you're, not into the actual schematics of a game like some of us football nerds are, it's so amazing to just watch 8 guys line up on the line and then everybody scatters. And if you're Arch Manning, there's nothing you can do in that scenario. You only have 3 seconds to go boom, 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 boom. I don't know where everybody's running now.
But now Arvell Reese is running right at me.
Arvell Reese is at me and I'm going to throw a sidearm. I don't know that was caused by Matt Patricia, but I want to know from Ryan Day's perspective, was there ever a point on Saturday when you thought, sheesh, I'm glad I'm not coaching against this guy right now?
Yeah, I think we spent 8 months talking about Matt Patricia and how you weren't going to know what it was going to look like from week to week and that he could dip into the encyclopedic knowledge of defense from 20 years at the highest level of the game. And I was like, this is going to be new. It's going to be a new experience to watch. Saturday was already an example of that. Not just like game to game, but series to series and play to play. You were seeing completely different looks and different fronts and different blitzes. And I was like, this is hard to follow. Yes. I can't imagine what it's like to be Arch Manning or a Grambling State quarterback this week, to see things that you've never seen before, you're not prepared for, just different looks, and the ability for Ohio State to execute that. I think that shouldn't be overlooked. It's one thing for Matt Patricia to know a lot of defense, but he also has to be able to install it, and the players have to be able to execute it. And there's a real risk if you are trying to put all of the Matt Patricia and Bill Belichick defensive knowledge into the head of an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid that they wouldn't be able to go out there and play freely and aggressively. That was not a problem for Ohio State. Now, it helps that you're anchored with Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles, and like Arvell Reese can do anything you ask him to. Like, all that stuff is a real positive. I think you did see when we talk about rotation, like the defense, they had all this stuff in for Texas, and it did not maybe open the door to a ton of, you didn't see Malik Hartford, you didn't see Aaron Scott, Bryce West, opportunities for, Riley Pettijohn, a fourth linebacker. That time's all going to come.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to happen against Texas, and it didn't. But
you did see Devin Sanchez.
I was very surprised at that.
I was on the biggest play of the game.
And I said the other day, and I'll put my hand up again, I was definitely wrong because I didn't think he was going to play in the opener. So clearly he's doing something right there. But now's the opportunity that you get to see that adding on, not new wrinkles, but new personnel and building that depth moving forward, because everything was put into this game, and Matt Patricia was awesome. And Jim Knowles had this reputation. He won a national championship at Ohio State. They were the number one defense in the country. All positive stuff. But that was more, seemed to me, a more professorial approach to defense. And now you have a true mad scientist also with that knowledge.
this is no disrespect to Jim Knowles. He won a national title at Ohio State. But I said after the game, Ohio State does not hold Texas to 7 points if Jim Knowles is the coordinator. I think that
he did hold them to 14 last year.
He did, but I just think certainly not as early on in his career. No. I mean, this is game one with Matt Patricia, and first of all, give all the credit to the defense, the players, like you said, because you have to be able to take that mad scientist and actually put it on the field, which is where Matt Patricia was worried that, you're dumping a lot on college players. Week one, is this going to work? It did.
Yeah.
But I just think that Matt Patricia took the perfect amount of risk on each play. I think he figured out the perfect balance. And it got to the point where the Texas offensive line is just absolutely so confused as to who's coming from where, who do I need to block? Guys are running free. And then if you're Arch Manning, there's just, there's only so many guys out there that can be double covered before you realize, like, I can't throw this ball. Or I'm going to throw this ball and it ends up in Jermaine Matthews' hands.
Yeah.
And so I'm sad that we won't get to see this for a little while. It's all going to go in the pocket, I have no doubt, because you don't show any more of it against Grambling State.
Seems unnecessary.
It seems very unnecessary. You play your base defense, let Aaron Scott get in there, let all these guys get their reps, but Devin Sanchez can play a little bit more.
Yeah.
But man,
I expect he will.
Go back and watch. Go watch Caleb Downs. Absolutely, he was like a coach on the field. He's directing guys right up to the snap, and at a couple times you can see where he figures out another guy's confused, and he just takes over that role. He's like, no, I got it. All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, and Sonny was doing that a lot too.
Yes, both. There was so much concern about this defense. And we've said it. I think that this defense will be better than last year's.
You were concerned?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's like, they're so young, they lost everything.
Yeah.
Man, that was beyond impressive. And as Ryan Day, I guess I would ask him, does that change your outlook for the rest of the season with offense? Does that allow you for a couple weeks here to get a little loose and test some things? Because at the end of the day, you have this fail-safe of this mastermind and talent on defense that it's like a safety blanket. Even when Ohio State wasn't moving the ball, you thought, well, Caleb Downs is going to get back out there, so Texas isn't going to move the ball.
Yeah, no, I suspect it won't change his outlook. I think it will, maybe what it will do is give him more assurance that the head coach of the defense has got this under control, and Ohio State's got to take this next step offensively. And you could tell afterwards, and I think some of the most important comments, not just Brian Hartline called it an unselfish game, but Julian Sayin was ready for more than we thought, and we got to give that to him. Once you get in that game and it's playing out the way it is, it can be reassuring, but I don't think that you can just, and maybe Ryan Day can talk about this on Tuesday as well, you can't just suddenly say, well, let's take some of the 10 deep shots. Didn't rep it that much in practice, but Julian's got it figured out, and Jeremiah's out there. You still have to execute an offense that you prepared and planned to play against Texas. And overall, it was working. Ohio State was never trailing in the game. They didn't need to deviate for that, and the defense was playing at a high level. But as you move forward, and Ryan Day is saying, in a month's time, in 2 months' time, this will be unrecognizable. Well, that's got to be tied in primarily with expanding the passing attack. And Julian Sayin looked more than capable of doing anything Ohio State needs him to. He was not rattled by the Texas defense. He was not phased. The numbers would look a lot different if the drops hadn't been factored in there. And look, that's all well and good. They won the game, and you get to learn from that. But I think what Ohio State learned most is that they don't have to run a scaled back version. They don't have to rely on the defense. They can now build this offense, and Julian Sayin's going to take that and run with it, or pass with it.
I was beyond impressed with Julian Sayin. At the end of the day, if you could say two things you have to do to help win a big game like that in your debut, don't turn the ball over, don't take too many sacks. He took 0 sacks, 0 turnovers. At the end of the day, that is the most simplistic thing you can tell a quarterback, and he did just that. He is so casual in the pocket.
It's California cool, baby.
That's it. He's California cool. He's back there. Guys are coming after him. All this talk about, the freshman of the year and this guy coming off the edge. And he's just vibing. He's just playing some football, having a good time. It was remarkable to watch. I was very happy to see Julian play the way that we saw so often. We would tell people about it. You'd say, oh man, this throw. He looked the part there. He didn't make a bad decision. So going off of what you're saying, you have to wonder with Brian Hartline, with Ryan Day, how much do you let it rip? But also you don't need to this is going to be a really tough test here the next couple weeks, because how much do you play Julian Sayin? Yes, you want to get the backups in, but this guy's only played one game.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think Julian could benefit from 4 quarters against Grambling State? But he won't.
I think he needs more than this game's going to be out of reach, should be, if everything goes according to plan, by halftime.
100%.
And in normal situations, you'd say, that's all you need your starter for. Don't risk it here. But to your point, there's probably going to be a temptation because you want to take the next step offensively. And you want to make sure that Julian Sayin is ready for a road trip to Washington. One's not going to be able to walk in the park there. That whole stretch, those 3 road games in 4 weeks, that's going to be a real challenge for Ohio State and for Julian Sayin to manage all of that. So there's probably going to be some temptations. Yeah, maybe push it here, get another drive or 2 after halftime. And we're going to see how they have to manage that. But the other part of it, you skipped ahead to Tavian St. Clair and getting him work. Lincoln Kienholz needs that too. He is the backup. And Ryan Day's made that clear all along. It's he has not played in a game since the other Cotton Bowl, the one that we don't talk about. Yeah. So that's been,
what was that, almost a decade ago?
Almost 25 years ago.
It's funny you bring that up, because I literally had this conversation with somebody. Just think about that Cotton Bowl.
I don't want to.
No. But just think where we were.
Yeah.
That was only 2 years ago.
Wasn't even 2 years ago.
It wasn't. I mean, that is insane. And now
I've still got the scar to prove it. It's fresh.
Austin and I may have tackled Austin. I don't know. It's all blurry. With that said, how did we get here? In an amazing way, how did we get here? I texted somebody the other day, this is probably the greatest modern, at least in the 21st century, maybe more, one of the greatest stretches in Ohio State football history. You're living in it. You've got to appreciate it.
Well, they were already saying after the postseason run in the playoff, no team has ever won 4 consecutive games over top 10 opponents to close out, all those things. And now you've added one more. I give full credit for the talent of Texas. When Ryan Day says they're going to see him again, I believe it. That's an elite defense. But the rush to put somebody else to number 1 in the preseason polls still seems a little bit misguided to me. There was just this notion that Ohio State had so much to rebuild. You and I have talked about this a lot of times on Talking Tuesday.
And we were right, by the way.
We were right. That Texas was given this benefit of the doubt. Yeah. And the team, I think, that has actually earned the benefit of the doubt is the one that won on Saturday.
Yes. I mean, the crazy thing is, this is the second time. I mean, it's more than the second time. We're right about the Oregon game. We were right. This is exactly what I thought would happen. Did I think it would be 14-7? No. But I thought at the end of the day, Texas would have more growing pains. They're on the road. Ohio State is a better team. They're both incredibly great teams. And yet, everybody's in the comments saying, oh, this clown doesn't know football. This clown, hook him. They're going to destroy him. This thing's going to be 75-7. At the end of the day, oh, there it is. I think that's my first. I was doing so well. I'm working on it at the end of the day. Birm gives me a hard time for it. I know I do it. I'm working on it. But at the end of the day, my biggest frustration from the first week of college football actually comes down to the rankings.
Okay.
And the fact that there are people out there that are not going to rank Ohio State number 1. And I'll say this, if you're listening, if you have an AP vote and you're listening, in a roundabout, silly way, if you want to make an argument for LSU, that's fine. I think it's silly. I think you're wrong. I think it's unnecessary. I think you can rank them 2. I don't think they just beat the number 1 team in the country. I don't think they were preseason number 3 or preseason number 2, but that's fine. But if Penn State gets one AP number one vote, I'm going to lose it.
They're going to.
Why? That makes no sense.
Because these same people are the ones that voted in the AP. They don't change it every week.
Well, they should.
It's the same electorate.
No.
Now, that's, to your point, these are the ones that put Texas at number one. Okay? They had Ohio State at number 3. If they actually believe their own preseason votes that Texas is the best team, then you have to, by default, move Ohio State to number 1. Exactly. There is no other option.
Okay, so if Penn State, say they ranked Penn State 1, Texas 2, and Ohio State 3. If 3 beats 2, you clearly have to say, well, who did Penn State play? Old Dominion?
No, that was Indiana.
That was India. I don't know.
They didn't play anyone of consequence.
They were on Nevada. They played Nevada. I knew it was a blue school. At the end of the day, that's 4. No, you have to give the number 1 team in the country to the team that has earned it week by week.
Don't think we'll have to worry about that in the coaches poll, which is the only poll that matters because they had Texas number 1 and Ohio State at number 2. They will move Ohio State to number 1. I have no doubt about that.
And you know what's the craziest part? Is that there are going to be people out there that rank LSU 1, but then rank Texas like 4 and Clemson 10. The math doesn't math. You cannot say that Clemson is the 10th best team and Texas is the 4th, and Ohio State beat Texas and LSU jumps them because they beat the 10th best team. The math doesn't work.
It's almost like we don't need weekly polls in college football.
But then why would I get fired up on a Tuesday, you know?
That's a great point. It does make for a nice discussion point. Something to talk about on a Talkin' Tuesday. And there's going to be so much more. We're going to be back in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. Ryan Day will be giving his weekly press conference, getting ready for Grambling State, Saturday, 3:30 in the Horseshoe. By the way, atmosphere, again, just can't say enough. Finally getting some hearing back.
Yeah, that was
in these
wild.
ears.
It literally hurt my head. It genuinely,
I am going to have to ask a question. Because, I was told by someone who I trust a lot that, there was just one switch that they had to flip in the speakers that hadn't been on in, the last 10 years.
No.
I swear. That's what I was told.
Well, I'll say this.
Because those speakers were popping.
I think that so on Friday, I put out a video of the pregame. We were in the shoe for the pregame. They were going through the walkthrough of it all. And I got chills watching there was nobody there. There were no teams. There was they had random stadium workers standing in as Archie Griffin and ringing the bell. And it was just those speakers were so loud. And the crazy part is they were quieter on Saturday. They spread them out on Saturday because I think that at one point there was a section that had a speaker pointed this way and a speaker pointed this way. And I was like, if that person sits there, they aren't going to have hearing.
Yeah.
So they had to...
Their heads will actually explode.
Yes.
That's not a healthy environment.
They were so loud.
But it wasn't even just the speakers. On those 3rd and 4th down plays...
unbelievable.
The crowd was carrying the day.
It was... And you know what? I know you hate noon games, but think about this. You got to have an electric game. You got to have an amazing environment. And then you went and you watched Alabama lose, which Buckeye fans love. You watched everybody else in the country talk about you winning. And then you watched Clemson lose. And all throughout the day, maybe you had a little lemonade, a little Arnold Palmer, and celebrated a big win. But just to be clear, my at the end of the day there was literally meaning
the actual end of the day.
Yeah. Yes. You couldn't do that with a night game. Night game, it ends. It's 1 a.m. by the time you get out of traffic and you're like, well, time to go to bed.
Good night.
I guess I'll wake up tomorrow and we'll talk about it.
No, we got to talk about it all Saturday.
All Saturday, all Sunday, all Monday, all Tuesday.
You want to do something new on Sundays, right?
Yes. We're going to do Second Thought Sundays because I feel so often, now this week is an exception because we're not really moving on to Grambling State. We're not game playing. But so often in this world, you have a game and by the time you get to Monday, everybody's well, let's look at the next game.
Yeah.
Well, you're on Sunday and everybody's already moved on. Well, how are they going to play against Illinois? Let's look back and let's take a little bit of time to decompress, rewatch some things, and realize...
Decompressing and deep rest. You're really into that this week. Woosah.
No AP top 5 matchup. It's beautiful. You can wake up on Saturday and know Ohio State is going to win. And if I'm wrong, you can clip this out and send it to me. and I won't do anything else. I'm not gonna.
That's just it?
That's it.
Okay.
You can hold me accountable.
He loves accountability. That's why he's hanging out in the comments every single week.
Every week I'm in the comments.
So
I'm working on it at the end of the day. I'm working on it. All right.
let him know.
Let me know.
Count him up. I mean,
Stop ranking LSU and Penn State number 1. All right.
Good?
I'm good.
Deep breath, decompress, and on to a Talking Tuesday in the Woody Hayes Athletics. So we're going to hear from Ryan Day. We'll have snap judgments after that. Birm will be back on Wednesday on the beat for some stonks coming out of game number 1. That'll be pretty interesting.
Stonks?
Yeah, stock watch. That's what we do. And, you know,
Stock what?
I don't know. It's some
Stonks.
It's a meme.
Like from back from the game GameStop era.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So,
You got a hot, what is it? Hot hold?
I don't know.
I lost a lot of
It's
money.
not even-
I lost a lot of money during that era.
The secret is when we do it, it's not even real money. We're just talking about college football players and coaches. But also later on Tuesday in Snap Judgments and the live show at Roosters. So
that's beautiful.
We're going to be talking a lot about Ohio State beating Texas. And frankly, might do that for a couple more weeks because it's fun.
Fun, casual joint.
We'll be there. Thank you so much to 10 TV's Adam King for joining me on another Talking Tuesday on the Beat. I'm Austin Ward. A lot more coming your way. We'll see you there.